I'd be amazed if it was a judge.
Retired Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer recently lamented the unfortunate leak of the decision overturning Roe v. Wade, an incident that exactly 2 years ago threatened the very core of the institution he once represented. Justice Clarence Thomas called the leak of the draft decision in the Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization a type of infidelity that changes the institution fundamentally.
If the court doesn't retain its legitimate function of interpreting the Constitution, I'm not sure who would.
Chief Justice John Roberts directed the court's marshal to launch an investigation into the leak, which months later turned up inconclusive.
It was a grave betrayal of trust by somebody.
Justice Samuel Alito, the author of Dobbs, is the only current member of the court who has suggested he has a pretty good idea as to who was behind the leak and what may have motivated the breach of the institution.
The leak also made those of us who were thought to be in the majority in support of overruling Roe and Casey targets for assassination, because it gave people a rational reason to think they could prevent that from happening.
After the decision was leaked, a 26-year-old man from California traveled to the home of Justice Brett Kavanaugh with plans to break in and kill him. That man, Nicholas Rosk, is currently negotiating a plea deal with prosecutors, according to court records. Roberts admitted the hardest decision in 18 years was the decision to place the metal barricades around the court.
It was gut-wrenching every morning to drive into a Supreme Court with barricades around it.
What remains to be seen is whether the public will have a similar outcry once the justices issue decisions in two separate related abortion cases this term, or in forthcoming consequential decisions involving the former president.
Citizens feel free to criticize our opinions and how we do our work. But lately, the criticism is phrased in terms of, because of these opinions, it calls into question the legitimacy of the court.
A Marquette Law School poll from February found overall approval of the High Court floating at around 40%, while 60% of respondents disapproved. That's slightly up since July of 2022, which saw approval tank to 38% in wake of the Dobbs decision.
The Constitution needs, as John Marshall put it, somebody to say what the law is, and that's the role of the Supreme Court. And that role doesn't change simply because people disagree with this opinion or that opinion, or disagree with a particular mode of jurisprudence.